take most of you out. Everybody take a look at your watch. Why do you think we did that? Because we don't have a lot of time. We've got 30 minutes to accomplish a lot. And in that 30 minutes, I hope to share some ideas with you that will have some impact, but it's also going to have some impact on you not only getting value from the 30 minutes, but really deciding, do you want to be a serious student of values-based selling and values-based financial planning and do something to produce big results, or maybe you don't. I hope you get a sense of whether or not there is a fit. So I want to take the absolute maximum approach to the time that we have together, getting the maximum value. So I'm going to jump right in. First of all, how many of you are familiar with values-based selling? All right, so a lot of people are familiar with it. How many of you have no idea who Bill Bachrach or values-based selling is? All right, okay, we got a nice mix. Maybe we should have those of you who know, talk to those of you who don't, and we can do our workshop that way. Essentially, it's built on some simple philosophies. The first philosophy is that if two people are going to do business together, the single most important thing that has to happen for those two people to work together begins with T. What is that? Trust, right? Single most important thing that has to happen is, bless you, is trust. Now, you have a handout, and I'm going to suggest where you take some notes on this. You've got this full-color handout, and it operates really twofold. One side is a brochure for my stuff, but we're going to be working in the other side. And this side, if you look in the upper left-hand quadrant, you see where it says Financial Roadmap for Living Life on Purpose. I'm going to give you 3 words that sum up the premise of values-based selling. The first one I've already given you, and I suggest that's a good place to take some notes, and you can get more perspective about this tool, the Financial Roadmap. Single most important thing that has to happen is trust. So here's a question for you. How much trust training have you had? 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. Yeah, you've been to San Diego with me. I know you've had 3 days worth. But let's just say kind of none. I hear people laughing. So here's the question. If you haven't had a lot of trust training, what kind of training have you had lots of? All right? I heard it loud and clear. Sales training. You know, there's another term for sales training. I call sales training antitrust training. I mean, if you want people to not trust you as quickly as possible, can you think of anything more effective than to show up behaving like a salesperson? I mean, Mark talked about it in his presentation. He talked about we're conditioned to respond no to salespeople, so it makes sense that if trust is our objective, the worst thing we can do is behave like a salesperson. And everyone knows this firsthand. In fact, I had some people talk to me right before, and they said, gee, Bill, you know, I forget who the lady was, but I think she was talking about her brother or brother-in-law. He's new in the business. Do you think this would be good for him? And we had a short conversation. I was thinking, you know, the less sales technique stuff he has to unlearn, the easier his success will be. And here's the proof for that. Pretty simply, we know that sales training teaches us to make really good features and benefits presentations. All right? Make the feature, talk about the benefit. Salespeople have to be good at handling objections. How come? Because people object to salespeople. That's why. You better be really good at handling objections. And of course, the response of sales training is what? Close the sale. That's right. What's your name? Larry. Larry says, close the sale. Many of you had the same sales training I had. It was called the ABCs of selling. Always be closing. Close the sale. Close early, close often, close late. You know that the top producers in this business ask the order 7 times, and the mediocre only asks 3. You want to be a top producer, you got to close 7 times. Let me see you show of hands. How many of you have noticed that when somebody trusts you, you don't need anything you learned in sales training? So the bottom line is that trusted advisors do not use sales techniques. How come? Don't need them. Just that simple. They don't need them. In fact, behaving like a salesperson has a very high probability of causing someone to not trust you. And that's the biggest challenge with values-based selling. I'm being interviewed in about 2 weeks, and the lady sent me the interview questions in advance. And she said, you know, Bill, when people pick up the book Values-Based Selling and they read the book, what kind of reaction are they likely to have to it? And I said, boy, I remember writing the notes on the flight here. I haven't had the interview yet, so I haven't said anything, but I was writing the notes on how I'd respond to these questions. And I thought, well, one of the reactions we get is a lot of people have this sense of relief. They have this sense that, you know, I've never really liked behaving like a salesperson anyway. I've never liked that little bit of friction that sometimes I feel. You know,